doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm awesome.
How's everything been? Hopefully it's been well, and you've had something you've been busy doing, like family stuff, which has been good to see.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, it's like you never take a break, or I feel like it's hard to take a break because you feel like you're gonna miss out on work.
Yeah.
But it's so important because all these little memories you build, they hold you over for when you're really busy. I mean, like weeks of busy that you don't see anyone. I mean, I barely even see my husband sometimes when I'm working. I'm just so slammed. So, this has been great.
I bet, yeah. It's good to have a break from, even though you need to work, but it's just been good to relax.
Oh yeah, totally, to disconnect a bit. Even though I've still worked, I mean, I don't know, because of voiceover, I'm sure other people you've interviewed have this experience as well. I know Karen does voiceover a lot as well. And so you always travel with your gear because sometimes you get an audition and I mean, anywhere from 1 to like 8 auditions a day for over, so it's kind of like I have to be ready. So I travel with all my gear. Here I had a director session. I was almost gonna go to Hawaii to work, and then they were like, no, it's not gonna work out, so you just never know, so you're always ready, basically.
You had work during the pandemic too?
Oh yeah, I was super fortunate. I mean, I had always had like a very simple kit at home for recording, just for auditions, but I had to crazy step it up because my agents were like, if you don't step it up, you're gonna get left behind. People have full-on studios at home, so I had to take and make the adequate changes. I did it, so I'm proud of myself.
Good. What inspired you to become an actress?
Gosh, I feel like ever since I was little, I knew I wanted to entertain people because it was what I enjoyed the most. I always like to make people smile, feel things, whether it be happiness or sadness. I liked the effect of creating expression, right, in other people, because I felt connected to them when that happened. It felt like an extension of whenever you watch something, whether it be a movie, a play, even in video games, you're watching something and I feel like you are moved and you take your life experiences and you kind of project them onto that character or that situation, right? That's why we're able to say, oh, I know what she's going through or he's going. I felt like that connected me to an endless amount of people and beings all over the world. If I could get to the level of doing it, on a show and being part of this blessing of being a part of. So for me, it was, even if it was a small stage, I was happy. I just wanted people to feel, and to be a part of that was like the greatest dream.
I love different stories. There's so many different backgrounds, so it's just so cool to hear so many different stories
on why people decide to do it.
Yeah, because just no one's ever the same, which is just
really that's so cool.
It's all like different. It's always, they want to entertain, but it's always little bits of different stuff, I guess.
Yeah. I guess, since I was little, I remember my dad wasn't in my life at the beginning because he was living in New York and my mom was living in Miami. And my mom says that I hadn't met him yet. And the minute he came in the door, I was like, oh my God, you're my dad. And then I grabbed his hand and I pulled him and I was like, let me sing for you. And I stood on a chair and I sang for him. And I acted everything. And I was only 3 years old. So I feel like you kind of have the beginning of it. And if you have enough support, which I was fortunate enough to have, or enough drive, then you kind of end up in the field. And you could be many aspects of the field, not just entertainers, but producers, creatives, directors, all kinds of things. So
you've done a bit of directing as well, right?
So I did it with a friend of mine. We did during the pandemic. We were all like, what the hell are we going to do? Like, we're constantly expressing ourselves. Nothing is going on. Everyone was losing their mind. And I live in a building back in LA where I have these two friends of ours are like great actors and they live right below us. And actually on that same floor, another couple them that were also actors. And so we're really good friends with our neighbors that live below us. And we were like, guys, let's just do something. And a bunch of contests were coming up to be creative in your house. And then my friend and I were like, okay, well, let's the girls direct something. And so we came up with this kind of like Kill Bill concept with my Chihuahua. It was just all fun and games, but it was a lot of fun, you know. And I think it'd be nice to develop my career a bit more as an actress and lead more stuff. And I think that then when I'm doing that for a bit, then I'd like to step into trying that director hat. It's a
that'd be amazing.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah,
you got to really know, like working with Dave Filoni and Mikey on Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, the guys know every detail of what they're doing. There's not, there's not an inch of doubt in them. So you see that and you're like, okay, all right, I'll work my way up someday. But for now, hats off, to you guys.
You're a fan of either Fear or the main show before you were cast?
So I thought they were really, I'm really like a hardcore fan of much. I feel like I root for almost everyone because I know how challenging the field is, and I know how into everything they do and really hope for the best. And sometimes people accept it and sometimes people are like, what's wrong with you? Or sometimes it's a timing thing, like you came out before the time, the correct timing, or sometimes you're right on that perfect moment, to come out. So it's so many factors, but a friend of mine, I don't know if you ever interviewed her. She was on The Walking Dead, God, a while back, like maybe 6 years ago. And her name's Juliana Harkavy. And she went on. You know her?
Yeah, I know who she is, but I haven't met her yet.
Okay, so she's super cool, super talented girl, and a wonderful human being. And I watched it, and I was like, "Wow, this show is really, really good." But I didn't have the network because I didn't have cable. I grew up without cable. My parents were so strict about just limiting how much TV. So I didn't get into it, and it wasn't like you had AMC Plus like you have now.
Yeah.
So for me, it was more of like my environment. I was kind of restricted, so I wasn't able to watch it and get hooked. But when I was able to watch it, I was like, oh, I'll go over your house to let's check it out. But then if my friends weren't watching it, I wouldn't because I didn't have the channel. But yeah, I would watch stuff about it on YouTube. And Clone Wars, I was telling a friend of mine, there was a boy I liked. Well, he was my school, and he was so want to become a director and have his own film festival. And he's very talented as well, because I went to an arts high school. And I was like, what is your deal? I mean, can you just be a normal person? Why do you have to reference why is everything a Star Wars reference? And then now I get it, now I'm like, oh, okay. Because it's just such a well-crafted show that you can reference it and make parallels to life. Because it's so well written and made. So now I get it.
Yeah, like I haven't seen any of the Star Wars animated TV shows. Like I'm not really. I've never been a big Star Wars fan. Like I've seen them, but they've never been. A big part of my life. But it's like it's still cool to just the fandoms that it brings and the people together. It's just so cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's a different universe, so you see it and you're able to kind of the same thing, project your life situations into this other galaxy, and how, oh my god, it's so random. uh, anyway, I think it's I get it now that I was in it. And I think I'm also like emotionally influenced, right? Because my team, seeing like there's this you might know him, or you might know Bradley Baker. He's one of like the top animation actors, and just watching him work, do like 4 voices at the same time, jump from voice to voice in the same recording, it really makes you feel like, wow, these people are so special. They're so talented, and just it, and working with them, you just feel so honored. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in the same room with this person. And then you go home and you try a bunch of different voices, and you're like, no.
Voice acting it's so different. It's like Seth MacFarlane, watching his interviews, he'll do all of his characters, and it's just
oh my
crazy to
god,
watch.
that's insane. I feel like I'm not that actress yet, you know, the one that jumps from voice to voice. I feel like my characters have all been kind of close to me. Like Overwatch was they were very Alejandra. It was, I had to like yeah, so Alejandra, I just had to make her a bit younger. With Trace Martez, it was more about going for the heart. Naturally, like you get, okay, she's all about heart. It affects you, but I haven't had like really outrageously different characters. Like they've all kind of been in line with my personality. Even Rachel on Fear the Walking Dead, she was heart. It was all about love, you know?
Yeah.
So I look forward to being able to kind of expand and break out of that. Which my movie that's coming, the movie that's coming out soon was definitely a stretch for me. It was everything I'm not. She was selfish. She was hooked on drugs. She was dark. Christina is like angry at life. I'm not. Like I wake up and I'm like, oh, wake. Thank you, God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, playing that kind of character, I was like, damn, she got it rough. But it was fun, you know? So that'll be a little bit more different than and less in line with what I've been doing so far, which is cool, and excited to see how people react to
it. For Fear, what was your favorite scene to film?
Definitely the death scene. Yeah. And actually, oh man, so it was, that scene was so challenging. So I like, because first of all, the bond that it created between me and Mikey, I really felt like we did it, you know, together, me and Mikey and the whole team. It was cold. We had to deal with so many props. I really got closer to the effects team. I felt like as a whole, that whole scene, that whole intro for me, was one of the most challenging scenes of my life, to be honest, up till now. And just mentally, emotionally, physically, I did a bunch of my own stunt stuff. Even my stunt double, we became good friends. Everyone, it just took so much effort, and you don't always get scenes like that. You don't always need, like, everyone's always needed, but you're not always able to be so hands-on about needing each other. And in that scene, I really felt like we were all one big family, and we were all doing it together. You know, sometimes I feel like actors get a little bit more of the credit, but it really is a group effort. We just happen to be the face of it, but everyone is involved. Like for the truck, there was like 4 people setting up the truck, then the prosthetic leg being put in, then me, and then the stunt double on hold, the director, the DP, everyone. It's like you're doing that, but there's like 60 people around you. You know what I mean? So it's pretty, you feel really supported when you get opportunities like that. the real simple scenes, you know, you just have to, same thing, be there, be present, and do your thing. But those feel a little bit like a little bit more simple. But the ones where everyone's heart is kind of in it, those are really special. But I also really like the zombie. I really like being a zombie.
Yeah, that was it. Was you turned like pretty quick because the someone else turned, but they didn't look too decayed. But I liked Rachel was really, she wasn't decaying, but she looked
Yeah.
a lot more, I guess, decayed. But
Yeah.
it was such a really good makeup.
Oh my gosh.
What was that
The
take?
effect team, they're just like, it took a while. It took about 3 hours between the leg, the stomach stuff, and then all the
Yeah.
face stuff. Um, which was, you know, it felt like a long time, but then you see how detailed their work is, and it all
Yeah.
makes sense because they have to like glue it a certain way, and then they paint over it. And my prosthetic leg was what floored me the most. I was like, okay, I'm working with like the best team. They asked me for a picture of my leg, and I sent it to them. And when I got to Austin, it looked like my leg. It was so disturbing. I was like, ew, that is my leg. That is my leg. You're holding my leg. What are you doing with my leg? So that was cool. Really cool.
Did you see out of your the contacts? Because Jason, when he turned, he could not see anything. It was such big blurry vision for him. I don't know if it was the same kind of contacts for you.
Oh no, Rachel didn't have contacts. It was still the beginning, so I don't think I had gotten to that
Yeah.
level of decaying. Um, so no, for me it wasn't. For me, what was crazy was that I had the dog.
Yeah.
He was guiding me, so I had to like tie it around for Rufus, and then he's like pulling, and you know, going sometimes he wouldn't want to go that way, and so I'm kind of trying to just look forward using my peripherals so I don't trip, and being like with all the breath work.
Yeah.
So no, for me, I think that was probably my biggest challenge. And we were in like these sand kind of like dune-ish vibe that they had going.
Yeah,
so sometimes I'd step and I can't look down because the zombie wouldn't really look down. They're just headed for what they want, right? So I'm like, oh my God, I just stepped on something weird. Stay focused. You know what I mean? So that was probably the hardest part, being in the sand and having the dog guide me.
Yeah, it looked challenging, but it was such a cool, like, that's never been done before. There was really old, I think Martin Freeman did it in some movie when that kind of
Okay,
same,
wait.
I don't know if it was a movie or a video, but something has to like either kill himself or he dies, and he puts his child on his back, and that's never been done in Walking Dead before. So it was cool. It was cool to see
Oh,
a
wow.
unique death for Rachel to go. Sad,
Yeah,
very
I
sad,
know.
but memorable.
It
Like,
was, yeah, I was really, when I read it, well, first of all, I get to my fitting, and then they're like, okay, Mikey's coming, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's coming over, effects department's coming over. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people coming to my fitting. And then they're like, okay, great. And then they start telling me about how I'm going to die. And I'm like, wait, I'm going to die? What do you mean? I'm dying? And I'm like, what's happening right now? Why am I dying? And so I just kind of found out then. And what had happened is that I just didn't get all the information. It was just kind of like fragmented information. I just knew that there was something epic coming up, but I didn't really know what was really happening. When they asked me for my leg, I was like, why do they need a picture of my leg? So it was really like, it was one of those like life moments. You're like, wait, what is happening right now in this room? What's everybody talking about? And then they had the way they do it is they sketch out the vision of how they see the images, you know, they're storyboarding. So they had literally storyboarded everything. So they're showing me all the scenes and how they're going to cut and everything. And I'm like, holy smokes, this is really special. I'm sad I'm leaving, but I'm also so honored. I'm like a hardcore samurai, you know, it's like a samurai death. So as much as I was a little bit bummed, I was really grateful that I got, you know, that I got such a beautiful exit.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's in being in that universe is so cool, but have a very special, unique death makes it so much better.
Oh yeah, it could have easily been just, you know, a stab.
Yeah,
I don't know, and I wasn't, you
or
know.
shot
So
in the head, which was
yeah,
what Ginny got, which was kind of annoying. But
yeah,
season 6 has been the best it's ever been.
I know. That's what
Everyone
everyone was
has done.
saying.
It's just so good.
Yeah, I'm so happy that I got to be a part of it, and especially a great season. You know, you feel like you're like, wow, I'm part of something awesome. You know.
If you had more time, do you know what you'd like to have done on the show, or did you think of a backstory which Rachel and what was her
And
husband called?
Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac. Yeah, did
Uh,
you think of a backstory for them?
I mean, it would have been nice to see flashbacks of their life. I thought him and I had really good chemistry. He's a wonderful actor and so giving, and it would have been nice to be able to develop that more.
Yeah,
And my relationship with Morgan, I really felt like I looked to him as almost like not a, I guess not a father, but like an uncle, like a
yeah,
wise uncle, you know, that you cling on to that person because it's all you have. Um, so that would have been nice to see that develop, but I really would have liked Rachel to be a badass and like
yeah.
kick some freaking butt. You know what I mean? Like
That was,
use the guns, use the sticks, stab some freaking zombies, kick some zombies. Like, what do you know about holding my baby, kicking people? You know what I mean? Like, it would have been nice to see that only because I feel like women constantly search for not necessarily validation, but um, for somebody that lets them lets them know that it's okay to be not just be a mom that loves her child, but a mom that like
yeah,
is willing to fight for things and is willing to, or just a woman in general
yeah,
that is willing to kick some butt, you know.
yeah. That's
Um,
really cool to see.
yeah, so that would have been really cool to see her kind of like own a bit more of like, hey, I'm helping more. I'm
Yeah,
helping around here a lot more. I'm effective. I'm a great thinker. I have I come up with solutions and I'm a fighter. Um, that would have been my dream to have that and become a stronger core member of the.
that would so good because there's not really that many members left alive
Yeah,
getting killed off. I think season 6, where season 6 definitely killed off the most named characters
I
in
know.
years.
It's great. It's such a bold move, but I feel like what's coming for season 7 will be real exciting
Yeah,
and it's just fascinating where they're taking everything. I don't know. I don't know how much you guys know, but it'll be cool to see what happens.
yeah. We only got that first bit of news yesterday.
Oh yeah, that
When
October.
Alicia's going to direct an episode, which is that's going to be
Oh,
great.
that's wonderful. Yeah.
We're excited to see where it goes, and the aftermath of a nuclear explosion.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any creative say on how Rachel like dressed, acted, or anything about her?
The only say I had was on my choices for the character, you know.
Yeah,
So a lot of people don't know, but sometimes, a lot of the work you do as an actor, you do it alone. You do it, I would say 90% of the work. You
yeah,
work on your dialogue, you create these things called carvings, you get your scene, and then you look at your scene and you're like, okay, well, what do I want here? Even if it's one line. What do I want here? What happened to me before I got here? Where am I living? Um, I had this really wonderful acting coach. His name's John Sperry, and he always said, what's your character's worldview? Because if you have a worldview, it changes everything for you. You know, like
yeah,
for me, my one of my most often used worldviews is life is good. So for me, even if I have a shitty day and let's say someone hit me at the grocery store and I walk out of the grocery store, I'm like, oh man, someone scratched my car. What the heck? Well, at least I wasn't in the car, so it's
yeah,
okay. But if my worldview was every day's shit,
yeah.
every day's a
You've
shitty
got to
day.
remain positive.
Exactly. So I walk out of the grocery store and I'm like, you see, someone hit my damn car. great. Everyone sucks. That would be my world. So that's your worldview affects you. So you have to ask all those questions before you get to set and before you assimilate your dialogue. And then you get to set and you make your choice, and the other actor gives you something that you may or may not have expected. And if it's something you don't expect, then you kind of vibe with that. So it's really all you have control over. I think that the higher you get up there, in the levels of work, how they see you in the field or in that production, then maybe you have a little bit more control. But I like to not think about all that other stuff. I like to just think about my choices and what I'm going to give the other actor and the story as a whole.
How did the audition come about? Was it?
The audition was very different. The audition, I mean, I lost my husband in the audition. It was, you wouldn't have even thought it was for Fear the Walking Dead, because we were in a hospital, and I was about to have a baby, and my husband was supposed to be there with me, but I couldn't get him on the phone.
Yeah.
And something had happened that I don't remember where he was, but he was somewhere that his life was in danger. And so I'm trying to get a hold of him, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. He promised me he was going to be here. He would never let us down. Please just give me the phone. And so I'm calling, and finally I hear, I don't remember if it was a message or somebody actually tells me. And then I hear that he's dead. And then, I'm dealing with the pain from the baby, and then hearing that he's dead. And then the nurse is there, and I just it's like all this turmoil happening, like my life is falling apart. So from the beginning, they must have known that they needed an actress that could go through all that pain and anguish. So I thought it was going to be different, though. I expected my role to have, at least for the intro, a lot more dialogue. And then I started learning how they were seeing Rachel, kind of sprinkling her here and there. But I feel like they knew. I honestly feel like the writers knew, oh, we're going to set her up for this. and then the end was just insane.
I've got a couple questions about your voice acting, because it's kind of, voice acting is always, it's really interesting to, you have to put all your emotions in just your voice.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Like, you've done Overwatch. Was it in the game? I played the first game.
Yeah, it's the, how they have those special films within the game?
Yes.
So the cinematographic little clips that they put in, or cinematic rather, not cinematographic, cinematic clips that they put in. So I was in one that was called Hero, and that's the story of Alejandra, and then it leads you to one of the giant robots that ends up becoming one of the heroes, and he doesn't see himself as a hero, but then after that he gets it, and she gets it too. So that was really cool. That was actually my first time working where they had cameras filming my face. I had never had that experience. I had a camera here, and I had to do everything, and they were just trying to pick up my natural expression to then put it into the video game, the eyebrows or the eyes or all those little elements that you would never think about. But yeah, they like to record those, and when they film them, they're able to kind of move the character, animate the character with those expressions.
It's so cool being Overwatch is still one of the biggest games. People still play it, and it's
I know.
If you played it, or you don't play video games?
I don't play video games. I actually was watching 2 nights ago. My brother-in-law is huge into video games, and he was watching Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, I think I worked on that. And then I was like, oh snap, I worked on that.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? It's that sometimes if you're not if I'm not a principal character or a pretty big character, I I forget that I did like additional voices and little things like that. But that one was different because that one I did with a woman called, the one that cast me was this woman called Barbara Harris, who's incredible. She does a lot of this thing called ADR looping. So anytime you watch a movie and you see that they're in a restaurant, when they film it, even though they look like they're talking, so like it looks like they're saying, oh yeah. So you see how it looks like I'm talking, but you're not allowed to talk. So at whatever diner they're in or wherever the hell they are, they have to pretend to talk. And so the ADR loopers, the ones that work in the loop group, come in and fill in those voices. So I go in and I see that. Now for animation, it's a little bit different because the director has an idea of how the people are going to be moving and acting and things that they need them to say. So we did additional voices. There was, I guess, a scene where there's a fight or something, and we're like, come on, you can do it better. Show them what you got. You know, all those additional things.
Yeah.
Or even conversations like crossing the street. Hey, we headed to a coffee shop. Oh yeah, I heard Melinda's is so good. Okay, cool, let's go there. All that stuff, like it's necessary. It really brings like that magic effect where the production feels alive.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And you never think it. Like before I moved to LA, I had no idea that even existed. I was like, what? This is crazy. Like you can work doing this? How fun. So I did additional voices for the Miles one, and they had us in like a completely like gray stage. And the director had set it up where he knew where everybody was standing, and then we'd cross over to create like the idea of movement. And we'd walk, as we're walking, we're saying something, hey, get out of there, you know, like so random but so cool. So yeah, that's different aspects of voiceover world.
Are you familiar with the Marvel like movie universe?
I'm not. I'd love to work in it, but I feel like I don't know. I mean, it's so funny. I have a Marvel poster. I don't know if you can. Oh, I'm afraid that if I move it, I'll ruin this thing. I have like all the females of Marvel just right in front of me. It's so badass. But I'm not, you know, like I told you, I'm not really like a hardcore fanatic of much. I'm just kind of a supporter. I guess maybe I'm huge into music and food and chocolate. I'm a simple girl.
I was gonna say, was there anyone you would like to play in like a certain character, if you know of any, that's not in the movies yet?
Oh no, I don't know of any, but I'd love to see, like, if I got to play any character, maybe someone with a lot of sass and some kind of ethnic background, you know. Feel like we don't see it enough still. I know that they're making a huge effort to be more inclusive and let people feel seen. I don't think it should ever be at the sake of the quality of the project. Like, we shouldn't sacrifice inclusivity for the actual story. Like, if a story needs to be told a certain way and that character doesn't fit, then I don't think it should be done, or someone did it better, give it to the better actor. But I do think something really powerful happens when you see yourself on film, in a video game, on TV. There's a sense of, oh, people like me are there too, you know, I can do this. I have this dream and it's possible. She's doing it or he's doing it. I could do it too. And I think that's really important to have, especially kids and young adults. I feel like that gives them just such a sense of worth and capacity. So I hope that we do see more of that. There's a girl that wrote a comic, and it's a superhero, and her name's Jalisco Superhero, and she does this thing with her skirt. It's like a big Mexican skirt, and it looks like almost like you know, those flamenco dancers. It almost looks like that, but it's like the aesthetically, it's like the Mexican version of that, folklore version of that, and that would be cool to do something like that. I would love that. So we'll see if she ends up if they integrate her into some kind of a universe, or they make her own thing. but just someone ethnic. I'd love to be able to bring that to the table.
That'd be amazing. I've got a couple of fan questions they're mostly from the Blazy Garner.
Oh, I love Lazy. Well, Sharon D, I love her.
I always forget that's her name. I'm like, oh, hello, Blazy. Could you just...
I know, I told her that too. And she's like, my name is Sharon D. I'm like, okay, got it. Never again.
I've got one from Lindy. She said, what was your favorite thing to do while you wasn't filming on Fear the Walking Dead?
My favorite thing to do, I really love spending time with my family, but because we don't live in the same city and we're not in the same city usually, my plants, I have this this passion for gardening. It started kind of during COVID. Yeah. And I was always curious, but then that really gave me the time because there wasn't as much stuff to do. Yeah, so I don't know, I really love seeing things grow. It feels like such a miracle to be able to experience that and to like put your hands and love into something and then see it sprout and become something way beyond you. So I love gardening. It's also really therapeutic, and I like to be barefoot and go on like barefoot hikes. That's kind of like that real hippie side of me that I feel like everyone should give it a go. It's life-changing.
I've got one from Comic Book Boy here. Would you like to have a role in a live action Star Wars?
Yeah.
Would it be Trace?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be so cool to be Trace. I would never want to offend anyone, because you know, maybe she has like the different hair and all that. So, you know, I obviously don't have that type of hair, but I think that being a Latina and having her be a Latin character, it would be just such an honor. To just, if I'm not Trace, just to be part of the universe would be, you know, as a live action role would be incredible. It'd be a dream come true.
Hopefully, it's where you get your a Funko Pop, because there's so many Funkos of the animated show one. So hopefully, Trace will get one, because that'd be crazy for you. Like, it's so weird. Like, as an, well, I don't know, but as an actor, it'd be weird seeing you as a toy.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be like, whoa. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. I'd be like, Mom, Dad, Eric, everybody pinch me. Just, is this real? Is this really happening? You know, it'd be amazing. Yeah, Dave even mentioned it once. But we'll see what happens. I feel like Bad Batch really was very well accepted, and now there's a place for them in the universe. So we'll see what comes next.
I need to get into something else more, because, you know, everything's coming to an end soon. Walking Dead's going to finish.
Yeah.
I need something new.
So you'll have time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've ran out of questions because, yeah, I'm still new to this. I'm still trying to figure out good questions and what's good questions to ask. But yes, I'm all out of questions, unfortunately.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It was awesome. I think this was great. It was, I feel like those are like core questions, things that matter to you. Yeah. What made you get into this? Why did you get into trying to do these like podcast interviews? What drove you?
One was because I had nothing to do, you know, from 2016, I started doing Comic-Cons, and 2020 was already 2019 was the last one we had in England.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for a year I just did nothing. I was like, I'm bored. I want to do something for you know, for fun, to bring people, you know, half an hour, 20 minutes, however long, just enjoyment of one video of a certain someone, just to bring them happiness, because it's just, you know, you need that now.
And get to know people on a different level, right? You just, I feel like now I know you more. I feel like you know me a lot more. Yeah. And so now we've established a friendship and a connection.
Yeah, it's a good way of bonding. Like, I would never expected to talk to Mo.
And oh my gosh, she's wonderful.
She's amazing.
Yeah, so cool. Even on set, she's always like, she's just so cool. She can't help it. It's like cool, just like she exudes coolness. You know what I mean?
It just you know, we've had nothing. Like I don't know what it's been, don't we know what's been like for America, but we've been on a complete, pretty much complete lockdown but we've
for the
only
longest time.
just started getting better now, which is good, but it's just
Yeah, thank God.
crazy. If I wasn't working, I would,
Oh
I can't
God,
not working, I think I'd be insane.
I know. It's been rough, you know. I feel very grateful that my family, for the most part, has been well. Back in Mexico, it was in my immediate family, just extended family. We lost 3 people, which was shocking. And then here, my extended family, like on my father's side, we also lost 3 people. So
Due to COVID.
it's real. It's
Sorry.
around. I'm grateful. My parents and everyone else in my family is doing fine, thank God. And yeah, I'm ready for this to end. I really hope that. I think we all learned big lessons, you know, about what really matters. I just hope the lessons stay, and that we don't forget to cherish the little things, because that's what it took from us, the little things, you know, that we took for granted, like hanging out at a park with your friends, going and grabbing a $2 coffee or whatever, a £2 coffee, you know. It's like those little things, they change the course of your life, and in the most strange, subtle ways. But it really, like, that freedom that was taken, you felt it, and it was heavy, right? And the fear, so much fear. Everyone's been so afraid. It's like, I feel like that's probably why so many people are having like issues right now, because of that fear. This guy says, fear, the abbreviation for it is false expectations appearing real. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, that's pretty wild. And yeah, you psych yourself out. You're like, oh my God, I was in the elevator. And then you get home and you're like, am I breathing all right?
Panic.
Yeah, you know, it's real. It's crazy.
I assume you're fully vaccinated now, right? Or
so I had a really bad reaction to a vaccine I took for HPV, and an ingredient in it is in the vaccines. So I haven't been able to get it yet. They recommended I just wait, because my reaction was so bad that I don't want to end up in the hospital for it. So I'm just kind of like, I'm hoping that everything can work out and I can finally get it, because you know, like, I have to be extra careful. I mean, you should still be really careful. I feel like that's where we're messing up. We're forgetting that just because we're the people that are vaccinated, it doesn't mean that we're not careful. It means that we're still cautious and respectful. And why do you want to ever end up at a hospital? No. So
it's not good.
And eventually, when we build the herd immunity, the virus will die out. You know. So once we get to that, we'll be in such a great place. And I hope by then the vaccine has enough trials that my doctor said.
I hope so. Hope
get
it don't too much longer.
Huh?
I hope it don't take too much longer. It's been long enough.
It really has. And it's crazy because I don't know if this has happened to you, but I feel like I look at my friends, my family, myself, and I'm like, did I age a decade? What happened?
It just
I think it's the worrying. I think everyone was so worried and just like on their phones, like, okay, what am I reading? You know, obsessively, that I think it's affected it. For the longest time, I wasn't even able to sleep all right because I was so worried.
It is awful. It is awful, but like things are getting better, which is great, because hopefully I can get back to America soon. I need to go back.
Oh yes, I really hope so. Are you guys not allowed to come in?
From what I gathered, no. Like, I think you can come here, but we can't go there, which I don't get. But our government, our government's not that smart. But
wow,
I have no idea what the rules are. I'm not even. There's no point even looking into it, because you're just gonna get annoyed. Could be no.
I know what you mean. Well, I really hope it works out and you're able to make it out soon. And thank you so much, Tyler. I had such a great time chatting.
You too.
It was lovely to get to know you, and now we're friends. So reach out anytime.
You too. Hopefully you can come to some UK cons or any cons.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. I would definitely love that. I'll hit you up for sure if I get to make it out there.
I can suggest to a couple of our local, or not local, I live far away, but our English cons.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. Please, yeah. If you don't mind sending them to me.
Have you been? Have you been to England before?
I've been to England, yeah. So my husband worked on a show called I Live with Models. It was a comedy out there. And he played this really funny, like dumb character. It was pretty great. I wouldn't call him dumb. He just didn't know better. You know, those people that are like, oh, like there's a scene where he calls, Hugo Boss. He goes, "Hello, Hugo, is your boss there?" I was like,
the funniest characters.
What is that? That joke always gets me. But yeah, that's actually where we got engaged. That's where he proposed to me. So the UK is actually really special to me. So we'll see.
I do like it here.
Huh?
I do like it here.
It's really beautiful, man. It's a little too gray for me because I'm really about, like, I love getting sun and I love water activities.
Yeah, that's why I love California. It was so sunny. Like I love light. Like I hate my room. It's so dark. I love light.
Yeah, our apartment, oh my gosh, the light is just spectacular. You're like, wow, it looks beautiful. You wake up, there's so much sun. Yeah, that's why I love California as well. And Miami's even brighter. You get sun in Miami for 2 hours and it's like, for some reason, maybe it's closer to the equator. I honestly don't know. But I feel like the tan you get being out here, like that healthy glow,
yeah,
it's harder to get out in LA. For some reason in Florida and Miami's where I am right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like look at me, I'm glowing. I am glowing. So hopefully you make it out to Miami too. It's great. And the beaches. You been?
No, I've never been to Miami. Florida and New York are the two places I wanna go now, which I haven't been to.
Oh my gosh, you have to come. You have to come. I would do like when Art Basil's here because it's so cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like 2 weeks again. Like I did 3 weeks in 2019 where I traveled around a couple of states, and that was fun. And I need to do it again. Like I need to go back to I want to go to New York.
New York. It's nothing like it.
Jeffrey D. Morgan and Paul Rudd own a fruit shop. I'm like, I need to go.
Oh my god, I didn't know that. How cool!
Big Paul Rudd fans. I'm like, if he's there. That one chance by luck, he's at the shop for some reason, and I can meet him.
You know, you might just manifest it. It could happen.
You've gotta be positive. That's like you said, everything's gotta be positive. Like through the pandemic, you had to keep positive, no matter what happened.
Yeah. It was just absolutely necessary, or you were just gonna shrivel up and die from just worry. So
you had to just, you know,
I think in life it's you choose kind of what energetic I guess vibe you're gonna fall into and how you're gonna see your life, and you could either see, like they say, the glass half full or half empty. And I think half full is so much better. So
definitely, I completely agree. Thank you for coming. I hope you have, what time is it now for you? Is almost 7?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's almost midnight here.
Oh my gosh.
Time zones are so confusing.
Thank you so much for making time for me, and I'm so glad it worked out for us. And I send you a huge hug and all my gratitude, Tyler. Thank you for
Thank you very much.
For this.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Alrighty. Good night.
Bye. Good night. Thank you.